If you have clicked on this video, you are looking for deeper, more fulfilling relationships, and with everyone, with anyone. Maybe you've got blocks when it comes to certain people. Maybe you find yourself wanting to connect with new people, strangers that you walk past, but there's something blocking you, some sort of fear or thoughts that come that just stop you from really connecting with people that you just want to connect with. And maybe you tense up in the company of certain people, and you just want to be able to be your full self, your full expression of yourself, connect with someone at a soul-to-soul level, no matter who it is, and stop having these blocks that are getting in the way from you really creating these deep, fulfilling connections in your life with anyone that you come into contact with. And if that sounds like something that you want to do and learn how to do, then this video is specifically for you. Hi, my name is Amy Sampson. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much for subscribing. I want to jump straight into this video. And the way that I have structured the information that I'm going to be speaking about and the things that I've learned along my spiritual journey are, I'm going to be speaking about 3 questions. And these 3 questions are: how can I understand that we are all one? Understanding this, that at a soul level, we are all the same, is what has helped me so much with clearing these blocks that I have when it comes to interacting with others. And that might be in the form, people talk about social anxiety, and I do feel like there's a lot more people have like social anxiety than we think. And for me, that has come and still does show up from time to time in the form of this, almost like this block that comes when I am interacting with people. And sometimes it could be that I'm like walking a dog, and recently I have gotten so much better at just saying hello, speaking to everyone, saying morning to everyone. And before, I'd be like scared and I'd tense up, and it's like my voice was blocked. It's like I wanted to say hello, but I couldn't get myself to just speak to the stranger or whoever it is that I was walking past. But I knew in my soul that my soul just wanted to connect and just wanted to say hello, but for some reason I couldn't. One of the things that has helped me overcome this is understanding that we are all one. And I'm going to give you an analogy. I want you to imagine that at our core, without our human physical part, at our core we are a soul. And this soul is our real self, our essence, our higher self. It is without all the conditioning that we get when we come into earth. Imagine that when we come into the earth, we are a brand new, we get to start scratch, and our soul comes in and it chooses to start afresh in this new body that we have chosen to incarnate into. And imagine that this soul, as it goes through life, it picks up and it learns from everything around us, people, how they act, what we're being told. Basically, we learn from our environment, and that creates conditioning. And not only that, the interactions that we have with other people and the way that we are currently living on earth, which is, there is a lot of separation, there is a lot of density, and we kind of condition ourselves to believe that we are separate from one another. Before we came into our bodies, we were part, and we knew that we were all part of the same source. We were all connected, and we all still are connected. It's just that we don't perceive it anymore because of how much separation there is on this planet, and how we are taught to believe that we are separate from one another and that we don't all come from the same source. I want you to imagine that all of that conditioning, so this is our core, and then all of that conditioning is like layers that we build and that we end up adding onto our soul. So where we meet someone who also might have all of these layers, because we all have all of these layers, we meet someone and we see their layers. We don't see their core essence, that is their soul, which is the same as us. And so when I'm interacting with someone and I am not aware that we are just the same in our essence, I'm operating from this place that is not aware that we are both the same in essence. This might look like putting others on a pedestal. When we are identified with our layers, our outer self, or the conditions that we have believed that we are, we tend to put others on a pedestal above us or below us. And this can cause so much separation. We actually miss out on the opportunity of connecting with the other person because we're putting them on this pedestal. And I'm going to give you an example of what I was saying when maybe you tense up in the company of certain people. It might be that you're putting this person on a pedestal and believing that they are better than you or they have something that you want. You end up not relating to them on a soul level. You kind of get taken over by the mind and the conditions that are wanting whatever it is that this other person has so much. When we notice that we are wanting something so much from another person, I'm not saying that we can't collaborate with others and help each other out, and that's kind of a different, that's not what I'm talking about. But when we want something so much that we almost feel anxious, or we can't be ourselves around the other person, or we're thinking so much into what we're saying, or so that because we almost, like that feeling of just wanting it so much, you might notice that when you do that, you end up pushing people away further, and it's just like, oh, for God's sake, why? But the reason why is because at the core, at the mind level, is that you are believing that you are not worthy of this person's, whatever it is that person has to give or to share. You're believing that you're not worthy of it, and therefore giving off this like energy that they will be able to feel, because we all feel at a subconscious level the other person's intentions or energy, whether people are conscious of it, consciously aware of it or not. They can feel it. And so that might be why you might notice, when you really, really want someone, whether that is for a romantic relationship, a career relationship, when you want something so much that you get so tense and not able to just flow and be yourself, you end up pushing them away. It's because you have this belief, we have these beliefs at our core that we aren't worthy of this person. And as you know, you've probably heard before, our thoughts and our beliefs do create our reality. And you're not realizing that at your core essence, you and that person are just the same essence. You're the same. Obviously, we're different. And different souls do have different levels of awareness. So as you can imagine, our souls, I do believe that our souls are always evolving, and we come into different lifetimes to learn and to evolve. And maybe you'll meet someone and when you're able to meet them at a soul level, you can start to understand where this person's level of awareness is for their true essence of consciousness, which is what we all really are. So even now, as I'm making this video, I'm noticing my mind going da-da-da-da-da. When that happens, I am identifying with this part of myself that wants to do really well at this video and wants to, it's like this wanting of getting something out of it. So I end up bringing myself out of the present moment. And this is something that I think is really important to understand. When we are with another person or we are putting someone on a pedestal, we are basically being taken over by our mind, our human part of ourselves, the conditions, and therefore we are taken out of the present moment. And the present moment is where the soul resides, is where we are able to connect with this deeper part of ourselves. This part of ourselves that every single person walking this earth is also a part of. as I was saying, it's the same concept. When we start to identify with all of these layers, these conditions, our mind, our thoughts that are coming in, that are racing around, we're not able to actually be present. We come out of the present moment, and we're no longer meeting the other person soul to soul and seeing into their soul and really seeing them as just another beautiful being that is here to bless us with their presence, that we can also bless with our presence, and really bring love into the situation. So the question, how do I not put others on a pedestal? I mean, meditation and practicing mindfulness is one of the most important things that has helped me on my soul journey, my spiritual journey, because being able to quiet the mind is like everything when it comes to getting to know yourself on a deeper soul level. And therefore, when you're able to get to know yourself on a deeper soul level, be quiet and listen, then you're able to meet someone else in that energy. And it's also very much contagious. When we come into a space with someone and we are present with them, you might notice these thoughts and you might notice like all of these feelings coming up, and maybe your tenseness is trying to like take over. If you can just stay present with it, it will pass. And the deeper you get into conversing with this person, it usually for me tends to get a lot easier, because I realize that actually this person is just the same as me. They're just another human at a different stage of their life, on a different part of their journey, and all of that like anxiety melts away. So the more I practice this, the easier it gets. Okay, so the next question I've written down is, how can I clear my mind as to meet someone at a soul to soul level, or how can I meet someone at a soul to soul level? And as I was saying, one of the most important practices for me is practicing mindfulness, going within. This has taught me so much about the universe, about existence and myself as a soul. Even just now, like I am having so many things trying to distract me from making this video, and I'm like, I really want to make this video, because you know when you're like in that inspirational moment and you're like, this is the time, I need to do this now. Like my mum just locked herself out the house, and I'm like, don't want to, like part of me is like, I need to get this done, but then and I'm like angry, like I feel anger come up, and it's like, I just want to get this done. But when I remind myself, you know, this woman, she's just another version of me. She's a soul. She's my, you know, I love her so much. I'm not going to just leave her outside whilst I try and get my video done. And so part of me, you know, it wants to go down there and be like, what are you doing? Like this is, but it really is not her fault. If I can just put myself in her point of like perspective, we all have done things like that before, like lock ourselves out. And, you know, it's really just, it's funny how it can just completely shift your perspective. Remembering ourselves, remembering our essence. And when you start to remember your own essence as a soul, and that every single soul on this planet is loved, then it really allows you to be more compassionate towards others, because you understand that every single other person is also that, they have that soul essence. They are just as powerful, amazing as everyone else. So it allows you to kind of stop putting people on pedestals and start to see each other as one, and that we are just each other on different journeys, and we can learn so much from each other. No matter what part of the journey we're at, we can always learn something from each other. And we also can remind ourselves that when we stay present and we really drop into our bodies, our clarity, and this moment where we can just be, then we're able to serve our fellow souls, our fellow friends, brothers and sisters on this earth. Does this resonate with you? I'm really curious to know if any of this resonated, if anything I said was helpful. Let me know in the comments. That is it for today's video. Thank you so much for your comments thank you so much for your comments, and thank you so much for subscribing. I will see you in the next video. Toodles.